This video is sponsored by Card Trader, a global marketplace where you can buy and sell TCG cards like the Pokemon trading card game. And you can also check out PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. The links will be in the description below. Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Shiftry from the Mega Evolution base set. Shiftry has this very interesting attack called Reversing Gust. For 1 grass energy, you flip a coin. If it's heads, you can choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and you can shuffle it and everything attached to it into their deck. This just seemed like a very interesting deck to build around, so this will be the main focus of our strategy for today. We're going to have our opponent just keep shuffling their Pokemon back to their deck and keep annoying them. There is one problem to this attack though, because shuffling just one of your opponent's Pokemon at a time, and to make it worse, basing it just on RNG is not going to be enough to win you games. Thankfully, there is this other Shiftry from the Temporal Forces set, and it has a somewhat similar disruptive attack called Expelling Tornado. For more grass energy, if your opponent has more than 3 Pokemon on their bench, you basically choose 3 of them that stays on their bench, but then the other Pokemon you didn't choose, your opponent has to shuffle back to their deck. This I think will be a more aggressive alternative. And so with these 2 Shiftrys, we'll be focusing mainly on disrupting our opponent's setup. However, while it is possible to win by shuffling all of your opponent's Pokemon back into their deck and emptying their board, the chances of your pulling it off is very slim. They have a high chance of just re-establishing their board on their following turn. And this is exactly why I added a 2-2 line of Wugtrio in this build, so that while you disrupt your opponent's setup, you may just have a small window on one of your turns to just have them discard the essential cards from their deck. And you'll want to use the Undersea Tunnel attack. For 3 colorless energies, you flip 3 coins, and for each heads, you discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. That's a potential 9 cards being discarded every single turn. And you can use the reversal energy to power up Wugtrio's attack, so it's always beneficial to have your opponent take more prizes than you to activate this energy. It is worth noting too that your opponent could have missed energy in their deck, which can negate the effect of Shiftry's attack, which is why we also have Enhanced Hammer, which can discard a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. And although Shiftry is a stage 2, you can utilize the Rare Candy or this Forest of Vitality Stadium, which allows you to evolve your grass Pokemon into the next stage in the same turn you put them into play. And finally, for my ace-pack card, I'll be using Neutralization Zone, which can help negate any attack damage done to Shiftry from any of the attacks from our opponent's Pokemon EX. While majority of your victories will depend highly on chance, the overall composition of the Shiftry disruption build is actually pretty solid, and I'm pretty happy with it. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Shiftry. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. I'll be starting this one with C-Dot in the active spot. I will be going first in this matchup. And in my opening hand, I don't have much to work with. I do have Neutralization Zone, but I don't want to use it unless absolutely necessary. So I'm just going to pass for now. My opponent's starting with Mew EX, and looks like we're going against Charizard EX. We do have type advantage if we want to attack, but I'll be focusing mainly on disruption. So hopefully we can win this using our disruption strategy. But I'll be upfront with you guys. I want to apologize for not being able to post any videos lately. As one of my viewers put it nicely, I have been uninspired with the Mega EX Pokemon. Your opponent being able to take 3 prizes every time they knock one out, especially with just 2 prize EX Pokemon still in the format that can take out your Mega EX instantly. It's just an unfair situation, but I should probably just accept the fact that that is the future. The rotation is coming out, and a lot of the 2 prize EX Pokemon are rotating out, so maybe that is the future, where you just win a game by just knocking out 2 Pokemon. So for now though, I'll be focusing mainly on some of the single prize or maybe non-Mega EX Pokemon in the game. I do have a little bit of a backlog that I want to showcase in this channel, so hopefully I can post more videos just focusing on those types of builds to showcase. So I'm going to start with this Shiftry. I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I really appreciate the comments you guys have been posting, the encouragement to have me post again. It's just, if you're a content creator, guys, you do have that mental block or uninspiration moment. So do understand. So now we're gonna go back to the game here, guys. I was able to evolve one of my Pokemon to Shiftry, And I'm going to put Neutralization Zone just in case my opponent gets to evolve into their Charizard. And we're going to try Reversing Gust. And we got heads. So what we're going to do is just have them shuffle that Charmander back to their deck. And they're going to have to start from square one during their turn here. So they will not be able to evolve into any of their Charizard right now. They have to go back to setting up their basics. But the thing with this Shiftry is that Reversing Gust is RNG based. I've had a game actually trying to showcase this where I had 8 tails in a row, guys. Every single turn. My opponent would knock one of my Shiftry. I'll evolve into another Shiftry. I'll try Reversing Gust again, and then I always get tails. It's insane. But let's go ahead and just attach an energy. I'll take a knockout against this Cleffa for now. Get a prize, and we got Nuzleaf. So we have Neutralization Zone still intact. So as long as that stays, my opponent will not be able to knock out our Shiftry. And we have plenty of chance to keep using our Reversing Gust attack. Taking a chance, 50% chance of success, having our opponent shuffle one of their opponent or their Pokemon back into their deck. So here comes another Charizard EX. They're going to use Iono. So if my opponent uses a lot of Stadium cards, there it is. They have Artisan. They will take out our Neutralization Zone, replacing it. So they will be able to knock out our Shiftry. 210 damage, so we will not be surviving any of the attacks coming from their Charizard EX. Just gonna pivot into Cleffa for now. Our main focus here is to evolve into another Shiftry. Let's replace their Stadium. I'm gonna use Lily's Determination to draw 6. We do have a Shiftry. I can evolve and I can take a chance. I can take a chance with Reversing Gust. But I think I'm just gonna draw for now, because once my opponent knocks out my Shiftry, it's gonna be done and over with without any replacement after that. But what I'm trying to do is actually push back this Charizard EX. Maybe we can evolve into the other Shiftry and then just have them shuffle this Charizard EX back into their deck. They evolved into Charizard, Mega Charizard X EX. Maybe we can gust it up and trap it into the active and then have them shuffle the other cards back into their deck. So that's one option. So my opponent's going to take a knockout against our Cleffa. Thankfully, we have another one. Let's evolve into Wugtrio. That will come in handy at some point here. So my opponent has taken more prizes than we have, so we can use Counter Catcher. I'm going to go ahead and trap this Mega Charizard EX in the active, and we're going to go with Wugtrio. And we're just going to use Undersea Tunnel. And we got 2 heads. Nice. That's 6 cards discarded from the top of their deck, which is pretty awesome. We did discard 1 Pidgeot EX, which could affect this matchup actually, because once they evolve into Pidgeot EX, they can just use Quick Search and search their deck for any one card. They do have a switch, so they are able to attack with Charizard EX. We lose our Wugtrio. I might just have to take a chance with this Shiftry. Alright, we don't have any more basic Pokemon. We do still have 1 Reversal Energy left in the deck. Let's just go ahead and evolve into one of our Shiftry. I'll discard these 2. Get Nuzleaf. And then I'm going to use Iono. So we draw 5. My opponent draws 3. Didn't get much from that. I'm going to go ahead and use Super Rod, recover Wugtrio. And then this Shiftry. Discard that. Get another energy. And I'm just gonna Grasping Draw. So 3 cards in my opponent's hand, unless they can evolve into Pidgeot EX, or if they just happen to have boss orders in their hand, I think we should be, our Shiftry should be safe on our bench for the meantime. So with this build, the more your opponent takes prizes, I just try not to panic, basically. And if there is a way out where you can disrupt your opponent's board, you take it. So unless your opponent's down to just 1 prize remaining, you always have a chance, unless you lose the game entirely, you know. So never give up with this build. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of courage to pilot this Shiftry build. You don't just give up. Okay, my opponent has Restart ability to have them draw 3 cards. And they're at 10 cards remaining in their deck. They still need 3 prizes to go. So as long as we don't put out any liabilities, I think we should be okay. Let's go ahead and use Artisan. We're gonna set up Wiglet. And Reversal Energy is gonna come in handy at some point here. And I'm just checking what we have left in the deck. We have 1 Shiftry. I could use Lily's Determination and hope for the best. Or I could use Iono. I'll draw 5. My opponent draws 2. Yeah, let's go ahead and use Iono. Disrupt our opponent's hand. Hopefully it's not great. Oh, rare candy. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and Pal Pad these 2. And then I might need Fezandipity EX. Increase my chances with Wugtrio. Get another energy. And I'm just gonna attack with Pound. So Nuzleaf has 2 retreat costs, so I couldn't really retreat it. That's the thing. My opponent's gonna evolve their Pidgey into Pidgeotto. They're gonna take another knockout. They're at 1 prize remaining. I don't have a choice here. Oh, you know what? I should not have recovered Wugtrio. I have Counter Catcher. I have Shiftry, but no energy. Let me go ahead and just gust up this Charmander for now. And I could dig a little. Flip a coin. If it's head, you discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Hey, we got heads. Okay. And a Pidgeot EX. Yo! That could be it. Dude, okay. If my opponent cannot evolve into Pidgeot EX, there's no way for them to search out their deck for that card that they need. They could have used all of their energy, so they might not be able to retreat this Charmander. Yeah, 2 of their Pidgeot EX are gone. But it's a matter of time here before my opponent just gets an energy retreat or something. And we will lose the game. Might as well just evolve into other Shiftry. And I'm gonna dig a little once again. Hey, we got another heads. And we got an Iono. Look at that. We might just win by having our opponent discard all their cards with just Wiglet. Anyways, this is RNG based build that we have anyway, so you know. Alright, we got an Iono. I could be helping my opponent get boss orders or something, but here we go. We got an energy. Not really what I wanted here. I'm just gonna dig a little. Hey, we keep getting heads, man. Ooh, a boss's orders. Okay. It doesn't really matter though, because my opponent could just knock out Wiglet. I don't think my opponent has anything else. We're gonna use Iono. We got Wugtrio. That's it. They probably don't have the energy to retreat anyways. And I'm just gonna evolve into Wugtrio. We just need one heads with Undersea Tunnel to win this one. And there it is. Okay. Nice. That was a pretty close game, but we got it. Alright, good game. Alright, let's move on to our next match. I think I'm gonna put my Cleffa into the active, and we also have C-Dot. And looks like we're going against Gardevoir, so they are going first. They're gonna start with Ralts. And they also have Latias EX, allowing them to retreat any of their basic Pokemon. So the first thing we're gonna do is just put our Forest of Vitality into play. Get Buddy Buddy Poffin with Arven. And I'll just set up as much C-Dot as I can. And then we're gonna Grasping Draw. So I put Forest of Vitality into play just so I can thin out my hand here, so that I can draw more with Cleffa. So for our next turn, we do have Nuzleaf. And we have Iono, so we can draw into more cards. Hopefully we can draw into our Shiftry. And then hopefully start having our opponent shuffle their Pokemon back into their deck. So my opponent has Frillish. It has an attack that can item lock us, but I'm not too worried as long as I have Force of Vitality. I don't need an item card to fully evolve into our Shiftry, but as it is, we don't have a Shiftry. I'll replace Neutralization Zone for now and draw into more cards. My opponent finally evolves their Pokemon into Gardevoir EX. So supposedly they have unlimited access to energies from the discard pile. And my opponent takes away our Neutralization Zone. Anyways, the Neutralization Zone isn't going to be as helpful in this matchup because they do have single price attackers. So Shiftry's not going to be safe from any of their attacks. Well, at least from their single price attackers, right? And they're going to continue with Frillish, item locking us, knocking out our Cleffa. That does activate Reversal Energy though, which we don't actually need at this point. We do have this Shiftry. Maybe I could use this. Put an energy there, and I can use Lilith's Determination. We can draw 8. Can evolve into another Nuzleaf, and then I can draw more with Flip the Script because my opponent did knock out one of our Pokemon. And with Artisan, I'll just go ahead and set up my Wugtrio lineup. And for now, I'm going to use Expelling Tornado. So I'll just choose these 3, have my opponent shuffle their Gardevoir EX back into their deck. Now they don't have Energy Accelerator. And at this point, I could actually just gatekeep my opponent from ever setting up Gardevoir. And that should buy us some time to actually set up more Shiftrys. And maybe evolve into Wugtrio. And then we can have them discard the top of their deck. So my opponent's going to use the Devolution TM card. TM Technical Machine card. But that's okay. It just one level down and we could just re-evolve. So it doesn't really matter. We got 2 Nuzleaf. And then re-evolve this into Shiftry. And I can even take a knockout against this Frillish. That way we can do away with our opponent's item lock. We got our first prize. We got Wiglet. But do keep in mind that you have to be behind on prices to be able to utilize Reversal Energy. Okay, my opponent's gonna probably attack with Lily's Clefairy here, which can deal a lot of damage. Yeah, Full Moon Rondo deals 220, knocking out our Shiftry, but that's okay, we have a replacement. And once again, that puts us behind on prizes. And I'm okay with that. But we gotta get rid of that Gardevoir lineup and maybe this Clefairy. So if we can find a way to have this Clefairy go back to the bench, that would be awesome. I'll just evolve into the other Shiftry. You can attach this energy. Draw with Lily's Determination. Flip the script. And we got Counter Catcher. Beautiful. Now we can push back this Clefairy. I'll just get this Monkey Dory into the active. And we're gonna continue with the Expelling Tornado. So I'll choose the non-threatening one. So again, the ones you choose are the ones that will not be shuffled back to the deck. So we shuffle back their Clefairy and their Ralts. And as long as the Roaring Scream stays at 2 damage counters, it's not gonna be much of a threat to us. So we're gonna keep them that way. And like I said, we're gonna we can just gatekeep our opponent. Keep them from evolving into their Gardevoir EX. They are attacking with this Scream Tail. Did I say Roaring Scream? I meant Scream Tail, guys. That's okay. That's alright. It's a screaming Pokemon, basically. So if I attack and take a knockout, they could have a chance to evolve into their Gardevoir EX, which we don't want. So I'm gonna continue with the disruption here. Keep their Monkey Dories. We'll also shuffle back their Latias EX, and it's just a matter of time before we can use our Wug Trio. Gotta remove this Artisan, which is pretty annoying. They keep setting up their Ralts onto their bench. But that's okay. Even if they put those Dark Energies on Monkey Dory, as long as they can't damage their own Pokemon with Gardevoir EX, we should be okay. I could try and take a knockout here. What are the chances that they have Gardevoir EX line up ready to go in their hand? But you never know. Let's go ahead and use Palpad. I'll get Iono and Lily's Determination. Use Super Rod. I'll recover these 3. We're just gonna keep our lineup of Shiftrys, basically. And I'm gonna get Counter Catcher. Put Ralts into the active. I'll just knock it out. Maybe if we take out all their Ralts, they will not be able to set up their Ralts at all. So that could be a good thing, right? So moving forward, we could just continue to gatekeep. Once we get our Iono, maybe we can take out this Scream Tail. But yeah, that's the disruption. As with any disruption builds, guys, it takes a lot of patience. Sometimes it takes a while. You just have to find your opening. And when you get it, you take it. My opponent attacks with Roaring Scream, dealing 40 damage. It doubles the damage counters it has. Attach an energy. Use Lily's Determination, draw 6. Can evolve this, and then Expelling Tornado. Have them shuffle their Ralts back into their deck and continue. Gotta get rid of this Artisan. We should still have Force of Vitality in the deck, so just a matter of time before we can draw into it. They can actually take out Clefairy if they want to. Oh, they did. Okay. That's alright. I actually need 2 energies to retreat this Shiftry. I could use Reversal Energy. Let me go ahead and just boss this guy. Ooh, we got Forest of Vitality. Nice. So we finally replaced their Artisan. And once more, I'm going to use Expelling Tornado. They shuffle those 2 back into their deck. They'll need to attach an energy to Clefairy to retreat it. But no, they have Professor Turo. So they can remove one of their Pokemon into their hand. They promote Munkidori. They'll put Frillish in play. We have to watch out because we have 11 cards left in our deck. We don't want to deck out. And let's see. I need an energy to retreat Shiftry, but I feel safe right now because my opponent didn't put Ralts into play. Thankfully, we were able to take out that Artisan. So, okay. I think we're safe for this game now. Unless my opponent has an energy here, it doesn't really matter. And then it's just a matter of time. We're just going to use Wug Trio. I'm going to use Night Stretcher, recover this energy. And then I'm on a hard retreat because, again, I don't want to take prizes because I need my Reversal Energy to activate here. And we're just going to Undersea Tunnel. And we got 1 head so far. That's 3 cards discarded. We actually took out 1 Gardevoir EX, which is really nice. But as long as they don't have Gardevoir EX, they have no way to recover or attach those discarded energies. So we're going to continue with Undersea Tunnel. And this is it. I think it's working. 3 tails. Come on. Even this Wug Trio. Okay, my opponent concedes. All right, I'll take it. All right, good game. On to our 3rd match. We actually have 3 C-Dots to put into play, which is really nice. And once again, I will be going first in this matchup. And my opponent's going to start with Mega Absol EX. All right. We got Wiglet. Let's go ahead and set up Cleffa and another C-Dot with this Buddy Buddy Poffin. And I'm just going to end my turn. I still need an energy to retreat my active into Cleffa if we want to draw into more cards. But going against this Mega Absol, we do have type advantage. At 280 HP, we do have that Shiftry that can deal 140, so we can actually one-hit knock out this Absol and take 3 prizes for it, which is really nice. But my opponent has Hero's Cape. It adds 100 HP to their Absol, so it's going to be a lot harder to knock out. So I might just have to shuffle it back to the deck if we have the chance to do so. Alright, now it's our turn. We got an Arven. Look at that. Perfect. So I can just get Earthen Vessel. I can discard Wug Trio for now. We can just recover it. Let's attach this energy. Retreat into Cleffa. And I'm just going to Grasping Draw for now. If anything, my opponent can attach 1 more energy. And they can try to do an instant knockout. But it actually requires 6 damage counters initially. So I don't think they can attack this turn and be able to knock out any of our Pokemon. So we should be safe. And the fact that my opponent has only 1 Hero's Cape, they shouldn't be able to add any more HP to the other Absol, so we could take a knockout against that one. So now it's our turn. Their instant knockout fails because the prerequisite of damage counters is non-existent. So for now, I'll attach Reversal Energy on Wiglet, evolve into Nuzleaf. I could just sacrifice these 2 to get this Shiftry, evolve 1 into Shiftry, and then Grasping Draw. So we have Nuzleaf. We can evolve that into Shiftry. Okay, my opponent replaces our Stadium with Risky Ruins. They're going to attack with the second attack. And they'll discard one card from our hand, and they're probably going to choose Neutralization Zone. There it is. That's what I would have done anyways, because that will prevent them from taking out our single prize Pokemon, or non-rule box Pokemon, right? But even with that, Neutralization Zone doesn't prevent instant knockout, so they can still use the first attack from this Absol to take a knockout. So let's go ahead and pivot into our Shiftry. I could use Reversal Energy, but we got an Energy. I'll just evolve these two into Nuzleaf. And then I'm going to use Counter Catcher. Unless they can retreat this Mega Absol. I'm just going to go ahead and use Reversing Gust. And we got heads. Look at this, guys. Yes! So we can just have them shuffle back that Mega Absol EX. And there is no more threat for the next few turns, I hope. And just a matter of time here. I can just continue to use Reversing Gust, hope for the best. They're not even attaching energy to Mega Absol EX. They are starting to set up possibly Mega Gengar EX. I could try and get a knockout against this Haunter though. But let me go ahead and use Reversing Gust. Oh, we failed. We failed it. I should have taken a knockout. That's what I should have done. But I'm afraid the Reversal Energy will not take into effect. So I just went with the Reversing Gust. But like I said, it is RNG based. So they will take a knockout using Gengar's attack. They take a prize. And I'll just pivot into this Nuzleaf. It already has an energy. Hey, we got Shiftry. Let me go ahead and use Fezandipity. Get Fezandipity EX so we can use Flip the Script Draw. And we got Lily's Determination. Look at that. We'll evolve into Wugtrio. Replace their Stadium. And I'm going to use Lily's Determination. Alright, we keep getting this Shiftry. I have nice Stretcher. I just need heads to get this Mega Gengar out of here. I am showcasing this Shiftry, so I'll take a chance, guys. Let's go ahead. Reversing Gust. Come on. Yes! Alright, cool. So we got heads. We're going to have our opponent shuffle back their Mega Gengar EX, and now we are left with this Mega Absol EX. And it's just a matter of time. I could use Reversing Gust, or I could energize my other Shiftry, take a knockout, but I need to, if I want to do that, I'll have to retreat this Shiftry, but it requires 2 energies. If I could fit it in here, I'd probably just put Air Balloon actually to get that retreat. My opponent only has 2 energies. They attempted for that instant knockout, but the prerequisite is not met, so it does nothing. And I do have another Grass Energy. And I'm just going to use Perplex. And what this attack does, it does 100 damage times 2 because of weakness. It actually confuses your opponent's active as well, which is a good deterrent to prevent your opponent from getting a knockout against your active, especially if it's the only Pokemon left. So Shiftry's second attack is actually pretty useful within this scope of strategy. My opponent attempts, because of confusion, they flip tails, they just get 30 damage. And you know what, guys? I'm just going to use Perplex to take a knockout against this Mega Absol EX. And that's going to win us the game. Good game. Moving on to our final match. Once again, I'll be starting with C-Dot in the active spot. And if you haven't noticed already, I do prefer going first with this build. And for our first draw, we got Buddy Buddy Poffin. Let's go ahead and set up another C-Dot and of course Cleffa. And I'll attach an energy to my bench C-Dot because my opponent's using Raging Bolt EX. And they can attack on their first turn going second. So they could probably just knock out my active anyways. And with the Nestball, I will put Wiglet into play. So I'm playing a little bit of a mind game here by setting up Wiglet. Because that will put my opponent on high alert thinking that this is a deck out strategy, which it is, but that should hopefully distract them from keeping in mind that we also have a Shiftry lineup and we have that disruption strategy, especially if our opponent is not familiar with the Shiftries, so we have that advantage. For now though, they are setting up, they have Fan Rotom, they have the Noctowl lineup. As long as Ogerpon is in play, which is a Terra Pokemon, they can search their deck for 2 trainer cards with Noctowl's ability. And with the Ultra Ball, they're gonna get Squawkabilly. They did use Professor Sada's Vitality, but no energies that can power up Raging Bolt's attack, which is pretty odd. I mean, I guess it depends on the axis of energies, right? So with Earthen Vessel, they got Lightning Energy and another Grass. Of course, they need those Grass energies so that they can use Ogerpon's Teal Dance ability, allowing them to attach those energies while also drawing 1 card. Because if you didn't know, Raging Bolt EX attack requires they discard energies to deal damage. So now it's our turn. I'm gonna go ahead and just evolve my active. If I can get Force of Vitality, I can fully evolve into our Shiftry. Okay, we didn't get Force of Vitality. We do have Neutralization Zone though. I could just put it into play and just end my turn for the meantime. And then next turn I can evolve into Shiftry. Although my opponent has Noctowl, they could probably just replace our Stadium. But they do still need an energy to attack with Raging Bolt. It's interesting though that my opponent's using Ditto, but they didn't use its ability. I think you can only use its ability on your first turn, so I guess it doesn't really matter. They have Area 0 under depths, which actually goes in our favor if we can use the Shiftry that we have in our hand. But if they can take a knockout here, okay, yeah, so they have the energy to attack with Raging Bolt. It's either we get Rare Candy, or if we can get Force of Vitality, we can fully evolve into Shiftry. But I want to push back this Raging Bolt EX. I actually thought of putting Iron Bundle in this deck too to push back my opponent's active, but I don't think it works out the overall strategy, so I just went without it. But anyways, my opponent takes a knockout against our Nuzleaf. Just gonna recover them with Super Rod, use Flip the Script, and I guess I can evolve this. Can put an energy there. I could disrupt my opponent's hand, but I don't think that's gonna be as useful. So I'm just gonna use Lily's Determination, evolve that, and then discard those 2, get this Shiftry, or actually, let me get Wugtrio. Let me get aggressive with this guy. They don't have any way to retreat their Pokemon. I'll get this Noctowl, because if they have Latias EX, they actually need an energy to retreat this Noctowl. And then I'm just gonna Grasping Draw for now. So we're gonna go with that. It is taking time for us to actually evolve. There's the Latias EX. They probably have an energy in their hand anyways. Okay, they have energy retrieval, so they can recover energy. So now they have another attacker, which is Ogerpon. But it's just a matter of time. As long as I can set up my Shiftry. my opponent has enough useless Pokemon on their bench, and then I'll just have my opponent shuffle back all those attackers basically. So I can use Counter Catcher. I just need a Shiftry. They're gonna use Professor Turo's Scenario to get the Noctowl out of the active. Once again, putting their Raging Bolt in the active. And they're gonna attack. 70 damage, taking out our Cleffa. Again, you just want to be patient with this build, right? You just gotta be patient, guys. We have Counter Catcher, we got Force of Vitality. Let's go ahead and use Flip the Script. I could actually use their Stadium against them. Let me go ahead and discard these two. Get this Shiftry. Evolve this guy. And then I'm gonna push back this Raging Bolt because it's gonna be one of the Pokemons we want to shuffle back to the deck. I can get this Latias EX, it's pretty useless. And then we're just gonna use Expelling Tornado. There it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose this and Pheasantipity. We're not taking knockouts anyway, so it's gonna be useless. And without any Terra Pokemon, the Area 0 under depths actually does not take into effect, so that puts back their bench size to just 5, accommodate 5 Pokemon. And with limited cards in their hand and no way for them to search anything without Noctowl, we should be okay. And they're gonna try and set up their main attacker, which is Raging Bolt. So they have Hoot Hoot. I'm pretty sure they have Noctowl in their hand. But once again, we can I can just continue to gatekeep my opponent with the Shiftry. So with this build, guys, we have 2 different kinds of Shiftrys, right? But this one is a little bit more aggressive, I think, than the one from Mega Evolutions. For now, I'm just gonna focus on Wugtrio. We got 3 tails. Come on, man. That's RNG for you guys. With limited cards in their hand and no Terra Pokemon, Noctowl shouldn't take into effect, so we should be safe. And with the time that we have, we're just gonna take advantage of it. Use Wugtrio while we're behind on prices. Nope, that's not gonna take into effect, guys. There's no Terra Pokemon to play. And it's just a matter of time. We're just gonna deck out our opponent with Wugtrio. But they have Boss's Orders. That's fine. I have Night Stretcher. I can recover one of my Grass Energies to retreat my Pheasantipity. And without an energy, they cannot... Well, they have Latias AX. Never mind. So I'm gonna recover this energy, retreat my Pheasantipity, and we're gonna continue with Wugtrio. Undersea Tunnel, come on. Got me 3 tails last time. Oh, we got 3 heads this time. All right, that's 9 cards in the discard pile, guys. And there it is. So we got Professor Sada's Vitality, bunch of energies. Oh, they have Prime Catcher though. I'm gonna switch back my Pheasantipity in the active spot. Thankfully, I have another Night Stretcher, which I can recover another energy to retreat my Pheasantipity. And never mind, we can just draw into one. And just a matter of time before my opponent decks out. We're gonna use Undersea Tunnel once again. 3 tails again. Come on, man. Give me at least 1. I just hope my opponent doesn't draw into a supporter card that helps them draw. It's gonna be very devastating. But yeah, that's the full effect of the Shiftry Disruption build, guys. Wugtrio, I think, is the best addition to this build. We got 1 heads, alright. So, as I was testing with only Shiftry, I kept shuffling back my opponent's cards or Pokemon into the deck, and they just keep rebuilding it. And they just never run out of cards because you keep shuffling it back to the deck. So there is no win condition if all you use is Shiftry. So I thought of putting Wugtrio in this build, and you know what, guys? It's been working really, really well. And here's the result of it. So I'm just gonna whiff Buddy Buddy Poffin. We're gonna use Undersea Tunnel once again, and we got 3 heads. It's just a matter of time, guys. 1 or at least 2 more heads with Undersea Tunnel, and we will win this game. And here it is. Come on. Yeah, there it is. 3 heads. And that's gonna deck out our opponent. And we will win this game. Wow, good game. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel. And until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.